Hello and welcome back to United Kingdom Speedrunning Group Autumn 2021, hosted by ESA. In fact, we would like to thank ESA for supporting this marathon. Besides providing us with their channel for streaming, they're sharing gear, technical assistance, and sponsors. Be sure to check out ESA's next event, ESA Winter 2022, which is happening sometime in February 2022. Next up, we have Onimusha Warlords, being run by bathsaltedpeanuts, so please feel free to take it away.
Hey, I'm bathsaltedpeanuts. I'm here to run Onimusha Warlords on Ultimate Mode. My commentators are going to be Loner Hero and DeCosmic, and they're runners of the game, not super active, but they do come to it every now and again.
Hello, you just saw us on Devil May Cry 2 earlier, and we're back.
So, fortunately, I can back up Cosmic and all of that. So a little bit
Just
of my
expose
background.
me right out the gate, it's fine, dude. It's cool.
So a little bit of background myself. I started running Onimusha a lot ever since the release of HD Remaster. I ran a lot on normal any percent. I have a little bit of knowledge on Ultimate, so I'm here to back up at Peanuts to support the community and all of that. And obviously also help Cosmic for his future runs, like for his TM soon.
Yeah, soon TM.
Yeah. So, well, let's go ahead and get started. So, 3, 2, 1, go.
Yeah.
So the first part of the game is pretty much nothing but a good solid 20 minutes of cutscenes. You're basically running cutscene to cutscene, is what it feels like.
There are two ways to
Can
get there.
I tell you guys,
The
like,
Western
I forgot
Path
to mention, Capcom for
or the
some
Northern
reason, they
Passage.
probably forgot to turn one single
Hide it.
button where the player
I'll go
has an
north.
option to
You
skip
follow
a
them through
cutscene.
the other way.
But fortunately, we
Understand.
are entertained with someone's Panda costume, so thankfully the costume won't be really boring, like, at all to watch.
Yeah.
So, yeah, like, a couple bit of a background with Ultimate mode. Compared to any other mode, it's not really considered an easier mode, and not really a harder mode either. It's just that
Princess
it is
Yuki!
the same difficulty on normal settings, but you have all the upgrades of the weapon. But most notably, you're going to start with the ultimate sword, the Bishaman sword, and that sword is pretty much really, really strong. You can pretty much one-shot any single enemy.
Princess
There are
Yuki, Your
other
Highness.
properties that this sword can do. We'll get around with it as once we get, weapons as we progress through the story mode.
It's really
Right.
Yeah, something that's pretty cool about Ultimate Mode, I think, is that, like, even though it's a game that you only can unlock, like, by beating the game once, it's not actually like a New Game Plus mode, so you still have to do a lot of, like, the same sort of routing that you would in a New Game run, like New Game Normal, but you still just have, like, now this really, really strong Bishamon sword to go along with things, so it's a pretty neat category. In terms of the story here, I believe that, like, Nobunaga, I think his name is like invading all of Samanosuke's like territory, and then somebody's got to be like, yeah, Samanosuke is kind of messed up now. I forget this dude's name too. the big,
Osric.
like,
Osric, my bad.
yeah, Osric, yeah. Some of the
I know.
yeah, some of the demon designs in this game are like really cool. Like, a lot of them look very like very distinct. Like, I could pick out like any of the enemies in this game pretty much and just know it like right away that it's from Onimusha Warlords.
Story is like actually kind of similar to how Mario saves the princess from Bowser. So it's kind of the same way happening with Onimusha, but in Japan. You see, like, we're not Plumber Boy, we're actually a samurai this time. Even though this game meant to be, you already have a powerful sword and all that, that's a lore purpose, don't worry about it. You see, Samanosuke meets a bunch of Oni, like ogre clans or whatsoever, gives him a very special power where he can absorb the demons and all that.
With your current
See,
power,
like, in
you are
Ultimate
not capable
mode,
of destroying
when it comes to absorbing souls and all of that,
We will give
it
you our powers.
actually is not that important. And this is where I would say that for beginners friendly, when people want to start getting familiar with the game, how the game works and such, ultimate mode is the right
Samanosuke,
here.
defeat and
Because,
seal their souls
you don't
to
have
your
to
right
worry
hand.
about things like, let's just say, you know, the critical or what I call it, the sin mechanic where it one-shots the enemy because you already have
all the
a
demons.
sword that gets the job done. So the ceiling, the skill ceiling level is pretty much everyone is on the same field. It's just a matter whoever have the cleaner movement and such.
Yeah, I do like how in this costume too. Like normally, what you would see is Samanosuke getting a like demon gauntlet that allows him to absorb the souls of demons, and that's how you like upgrade a lot of the other weapons that you get throughout the game. Which you will still pick up in this run, but mostly that you're going to see a lot of the Bishamon sword in this panda outfit. Though it's just like a flower on his arm.
I gotta
So
put my
funny.
hood up for
Fun fact.
posterity.
Yeah, and fun fact, the
There we go.
first cutscene is the longest cutscene. The rest of the cutscene are a lot shorter.
Yes,
Another thing that
substantially.
makes this one, yeah, it's another thing that makes this one really so,
Something else we should probably note about the HD collection as well. The movement in this version changed from the original releases, because you actually can use the analog stick in order to move around, as opposed to just having access to the tank controls from like the PS2 release and the original like PC release that came out in like 2003 or something.
But someone is
Both
there.
of those just use tank controls and what's it called?
Open the door.
And you
Kill
can
all
also
the
switch
monsters.
weapons in real time in this version as well, which is pretty
Huh?
neat.
What should we do?
You can only change weapons through the menu in the original like PS2 and the 2003 PC release as well. So it's a pretty neat version of the game that has like some good quality of life upgrades for it. I think it casually
Sorry.
like this
We
is
are very
probably
sorry. Please
the
forgive us.
best way to play the game right
What
now.
happened to you?
For sure.
unfortunately,
They came out of nowhere and attacked us.
The keep may have
actually,
also
like
been
this
attacked by
version of
them.
Onimusha that you see as a HD collection, this is not
The keep is ahead
the
of us that
very
way.
first
Right.
PC port
The
that got
forest road
released.
there
There was
is a shortcut to the
actually
keep.
another version of Onimusha 1 that got released back then in
I see.
2003. And surprise, surprise, that version was exclusive to 2 countries only. That
Yeah, which
version, yeah,
was China and what else?
it was Chinese. Chinese and
Yeah.
Russian, I believe, yeah.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, that version unfortunately is really difficult to set it up. And that,
Yeah.
the biggest advantage of that version is where you can skip the cutscene. And when I looked through the HD collection file, it seems that it used the same file assets as that version.
Whoops.
So yeah, that's a big
Wow. Cool.
Whoop. Great. Sick.
Yeah.
At least I didn't go the wrong way. That happens pretty regularly here as well.
I feel like that sometimes. This is the point where Samanosuke actually gets his first demon weapon. I forget the name of this, but this is the lightning blade. That looks so funny in the panda costume, dude. It's just like
Everything just clips through your hood. It's
ball.
great.
It's so good. These are also the puzzle boxes here, by the way. So these puzzles have like pretty much set ways that they want you to solve them, and you have to solve them within a certain number of moves. So like when I was running this game, I would always have like the solutions to the puzzles, like to the puzzle boxes, just kind of on the side there. Because if you mess these up, you just kind of have to do it over and like over again. And that one that Bass just did right there is pretty quick, but some of them, like especially the lengthier ones, can get a little bit hectic. So
Yeah. Pro tip: put the solutions in your splits if you're gonna run this game. If you can't remember them.
ooh, that's a good one. That's a good call. I like that.
Good one. That's also like what people about in Devil May Cry 1 when they try to remember their buy list.
Exactly.
Or it's like the puzzle on DMC Devil May Cry I can never remember. It's like the third to last mission. I'm just like, I don't remember this, dude. Put it in the splits.
Huh?
So this is our first boss here, Osric. He's the guy who bullied us at the beginning of the game. He's actually a total chump in this mode. We're gonna hit him 3 times, hopefully really quickly, and not get hit ourselves, and just take him out.
I like how earlier when like Samanosuke ran after this dude, he just kind of like took 2 steps and fell down. It's like, dude, I feel you.
Whoop.
How could I die?
Ooh, very nice. And what is that move called? It like the spin move. I think there's just like.
It's
heavy
basically our
drag.
magic attack for this weapon, even though it's not really magical, but it basically dunks on every enemy in the game. So
Yeah, that's right.
that's pretty much gonna be the go-to move for the majority of any contact I have with anything. Every other demon weapon is gonna have a special magic attack that's gonna be long, drawn out. While effective, it's not nearly as fast as this sword is ever gonna be.
So do Soul play? Does the Soul Rod plays a role in this one?
I'm sorry, what was that?
He was asking if the soul like what's the soul routing? For
There's
this
gonna
run?
be no soul routing at all. Like, I don't have to collect any
Ah.
souls with the exception of if I need to heal something immediately after a boss. That's gonna be the only time I'm gonna hit souls, ideally. Or
I thought
you-
you gotta need put an arrow upgrade for fire arrow. Unless
Yeah,
that's
let's
just
do
a
that.
no,
fire.
I don't upgrade arrows, I don't upgrade bullets, I don't upgrade anything, no magic items or anything like that. I'm just gonna pick up the items and go. I don't need to upgrade anything to go through doors. It's perfect.
Okay, okay, I just remember something.
No.
No, never mind. Never mind. Infinite magic.
Let me show you my most recent creation.
Very nice. Yeah, that's in case you needed a a recap of how strong the Bishamon sword is. There you go.
It is.
'Cause
It's super
it's-
overpowered. Like,
Yeah.
it basically just lets you just skip grinding and backtracking and all that stuff.
Here's the fire sword as well. I think this is probably my favorite weapon in the game. It's like
Same.
it's kind of hefty. I want to say that the Bishamon model is probably built off that one, but I have nothing to found that on.
But there is a sign where Digimon that's kind of have the free magical element kind of used or something.
I think so.
Yeah, yeah. On
This
his,
is also
on his gauntlet,
yeah.
they all color match whatever element you're using on there. With a little green orb or blue orb or red orb, depending on what skill you're using.
And that fight that Bath just went through there, normally like on New Game Normal mode, you would have to stop and get souls at some of these enemies in order to unlock like what's it called? Different levels of souls on the gauntlets in order to pass through like certain doors that we're going to be getting through here. However, the Bishamon sword doesn't care about any of that, so
Absolutely.
it's just going to
What is
be
going on here?
it's just going to be going through pretty easily.
Stop!
That's pretty much the reward when you finish the
Who are
game
you?
completely.
And what do you want with that
When you
boy?
finish the game completely, it just
I
gives you
should
here.
ask you the same
If you want to
thing.
mess around the game,
You are not
here's
working for
the mode.
Saito Clan, are
Here's
you?
the mode made right for you.
Wait. Can you be
I like the
Samanosuke
little
Adachi?
panda he has in his pouch there too. It's just
I
like
cannot
the,
believe you are
the
here of
arms
all
wagging and
places.
stuff too.
Yeah.
I am a servant
Constantly
of the Oda
dancing.
clan.
Really appreciate his
My
costume.
name is Tokichiro Kinoshita.
I didn't know how do you even put up the hood, dude? I
You have to
never
hold
learned
the
how to
left
do that.
trigger for
What
like
is a
5
servant of
seconds
the
and the
Oda
hood
clan
goes
doing
up.
here?
Wait, first we must
That's
talk business.
interesting. I mean,
Tell
I
me,
don't know
Samanosuke.
why they wouldn't like just
Are you interested in
have the
serving
hood
our
up
clan?
like from jump.
My Lord
I don't know,
Nobunaga
maybe
Oda
some
would
people
welcome
just
a
want to see
great
Samanosuke's
samurai
handsome
like
face the
yourself.
whole time. Not sure.
I serve no
That's
one. My
fair.
life is mine
I
and mine
totally
alone
get
to
that to
command.
be honest. So
I see.
that handsome PS2
However,
face
I will not
Yeah.
talk
with
yet.
the polygon
meet
hair
again.
and stuff.
Can't even. I don't think you
I
can.
forget this dude's name as well. Like I played this game recently too.
His
and
name's
I'm just like-
Tokichiro, and then the narrator of the game goes on to say that he changed his name to Hideyoshi Toritami, who later conquers the world.
Yeah.
But it ends up being like totally irrelevant to the story, I believe. And I think it's only there just to tie the game further into real
That is not
life
true.
people.
Please.
Yeah,
Tell
that
me your
makes
name.
sense. Yeah, because I didn't remember him being like of utmost importance.
Onimusha,
There's just kind
you
of like
must tell me.
some monologues and
samurai
warnings
want
he
with
gives Samanosuke about stuff, and Samanosuke's like, "That's cool, dude. I'm
Fine,
still
then
gonna
why are you here? Who brought you
gonna
here?
keep on trucking."
Yeah, the game just tries to tie it in as much as it can with real world stuff. So
Go
like
after him,
Samanosuke Akechi's last name is
I will.
relevant in real history. You know, Nobunaga, the little short guy we were just talking to, like all these people are kind of like loosely based off of other people
Makes sense.
and clans. Yeah, my movement's super good in that room, by the way. Except it isn't.
Nice. So yeah, normally again, Bath would have had to level up his fire gauntlet to level 2 here in order to just get right through the door, but the Bishamon sword doesn't care about any of that. So he's going to be grabbing 2 halves of a tablet that he's going to have to gather in order to get through another door here. I forget where exactly that door is.
It's coming. Wow. So
yeah, that's right.
this huge disadvantage of the stick movement is that the cameras will routinely mess you up. If you're holding a direction and you're moving and the camera comes up and decides to change, if you deviate that stick's position, even like just thinking about it, Samanosuke's direction is going to suddenly just change and ruin your movement. It's helpful for doing, you know, somewhat complicated movement rooms, but by and large, I think you want to try and adapt in D-pad movement or tank controls for as much as you can, just to have cleaner lines throughout all of the maps.
Something seems to be going on.
Yeah, the game is actually designed around the tank. Movement, like the same fashion with Resident Evil. I believe, I think Mage and Bowie themselves, they only play the game through the tank control.
Samanosuke, we must find a way out.
The tank control can need you like more accurate movement on where you want to go.
Exactly.
While the free movement is a lot easier when you want to get out of the situation of the fight.
Yeah.
Or,
Yeah, I was gonna say like the free movement in combat is really nice on this fourth. This puzzle here as well, I believe that like there's, as far as I'm aware, there's like no set solution for it. I think there's some RNG to it, or am I just totally off base there?
No, that puzzle solution is exactly the same every time. The only
Every
puzzle
time?
that changes is this room, where it's kind of like RNG what pattern you're gonna get.
Oh yeah, I meant this one right here that's coming up. Yeah, this one right here in this room. I phrased that terribly, so my bad.
The solution is there regardless, like regardless of the pattern. It's just that I think when you get the less button on the floor, then you're fine.
Yeah.
I wonder what this room
okay.
is.
That was one of the parts of like learning the game that was like a little bit intimidating. Was that room? It was like, so you're just so prone with just one wrong step to
Samanosuke,
just
happened?
lose
Are
the
you
run
alright?
entirely. It's like, oh.
Yeah, it's very easy to overlook
Is there a way you can get out of there?
which direction the square is gonna, like, if the square is actually gonna hit you, or if you're like one square away from it. Like, I literally just lost a run to it the other night,
I will help
so
you.
it'll definitely bone you if it gets a chance.
And this is actually the first time we take control
Seriously,
of. I think
give me there.
Nice, yeah. So this is a puzzle where he's gonna have to do a set bit of movement here with the pieces. This is always the same, yeah, as well. Gonna move those over. Gonna have to just line up the flower here, and then at that point, we're gonna save Samanosuke from drowning.
That was always the hardest puzzle for me to learn, is this one. Like, when I first started learning the game, I was always so sweaty when it came to learning this puzzle, because it's so nerve-wracking, because you're on a time limit, and I suck at slider puzzles in general.
Especially when those small pieces actually mess you up when you want to get the bigger pieces first.
Yeah.
Like, the solution is always the same, but when you try to do them fast,
We are safe now.
it's so easy to
I will go search for clues.
just get so confused with it.
Fine.
You'll be like, oh, I selected that, but I got selected this piece instead.
Alright, so
Like,
this
you
is
can
where the
see right
quests are going
now-
to come in. So.
Yeah. You can see the cutscene right now are getting a lot shorter and shorter and shorter. Like, instead of that dreadful 5 minutes of the cutscene. Because you're trying to go fast, but the game is like, hold on, let me finish that cutscene and all that.
To use the left and right crest pieces here.
Another cutscene.
Yumimaru!
Hey, Samanosuke!
And then
We're
they're
gonna meet
like,
this guy.
oh no.
So, have you decided
Yeah,
to
and I
send
like
your
how this
path
dude
there?
is just like
Move!
there, and then Samanosuke sees like nothing wrong with this guy
It is
being
too
there
late
and just
for
didn't
the
help out
boy.
that little kid.
And
Like,
since you
Yeah,
have learned
he's
how
definitely
Lord
sees
Nobunaga
zero
will
opportunities
rule
to
the
save
world
this
with
kid
the
fully.
demons,
He just
you must bark up.
he just
So
talks to
far,
this dude, gets exposited on, and the kid
insane.
just gets kidnapped right in front of
What you
him.
are doing will lead to innocent people
It's such
being
a
used as
cheesy
food for the demons.
scene for the most part.
The
It's
strong
so
will
cheesy.
prey upon the weak. Farmers obey samurai, and humans obey demons.
You arrogant fool!
Our dark
So
ceremony
yeah,
will
fortunately
take place
after
soon. Princess Yuki's skull will be filled with her own
unfortunately after
blood.
all of that
And
installment
when our
of
Lord Nobunaga
Onimusha, like
drinks it,
they
the
made
victory of the Oda clan over
they
the
made
Saito
sure
clan
that the
will
rest
be
of Onimusha
guaranteed.
they had a cutscene skip function for some reason.
See you again, Samanosuke.
But you gotta beat the game first. Like I still wonder why Capcom did that. Like they just
I
released the
don't
game
know.
here, have fun.
I don't know.
Alright, so we're gonna come up to probably one of the hardest boss fights in this mode. Really. Perfect example of the stick controls really bamboozling you a little bit.
Very nice, very nice.
So he's one of the hardest boss fights, this guy named Marcellus, and that's primarily because he uses a shield, and he's one of the only enemies, or big bad enemies anyway, that uses a shield, and he can basically block you whenever he feels like. With the exception of being directly behind him, you basically have to attack him during his attacks. Huh? Come on. There we go. Decent boss fight. Not perfect, but definitely serviceable.
I think we have a little bit of time for donations too, with that being done, right?
Yes, yeah, long cutscene's about to come up.
Well, we're still waiting on some donations to come through, so I'll just take this opportunity to thank BSG for supporting this marathon. They hold bi-monthly gatherings in the Netherlands, and they've supported UKSG from the beginning by spreading the word and providing us with a channel to stream on in past sessions, among other things. So mark your calendars, because their next event is coming soon, and it's streamed on this very channel, so you won't need to go very far to watch it.
Yeah, time for another.
Alright, so we're saving the boy
Alright,
again.
so nothing, yeah. Alright, yeah, so nothing. Saving the boy again, yeah.
Yeah, he's just gonna
And
talk
this is-
to him.
I think this is the point, right, where it switches over to Kaide, or is that like?
It's a little bit afterwards. I think I have to go downstairs to get a, I have to go get captured first,
Don't
and then
worry,
we'll switch over to
You're
Kaede.
safe now.
That's right, yeah. So
Please.
I was gonna mention this during the
have to
water
save
puzzle,
her.
but like that was actually the first
I
time
give
that
you
you
my
take
word.
control of
I will
Kaide.
save Princess Yuki.
And I think I don't remember if this is in the
Kaide,
if this is the
You know
case
why
in
Princess Yuki
Onimusha
took care of
2,
this boy.
but like the first
Princess
three,
Yuki was
like
born the
I think
daughter of
all
the
the
Full
Onimusha
Lord,
games except for
and thus
maybe
raised
2,
in
you
arranged
always take
marriage.
control of another
She's had no
character
freedom
except for
whatsoever.
like besides Samanosuke.
It happens
For
in
like
2
at
as
least
well.
small
So when she
portions of the
meets
game.
someone
It does
else who's
happen in 2 as
need,
well.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
She wants to help them.
Because it was a huge thing in Onimusha
This
3,
world,
and
only the
in this
strong
game too,
survive.
obviously. You do take control of Kaide, and I thought that was a pretty interesting thing that they did. Is
Let me
like
tell
with
you
this
about the
game
ways
is
of
that
the world,
they
Yamamaru.
introduce
The
you to this
world?
character, and they have you play as him for a little while and everything, and then it's like, all right, just swap him over to
There are
the other
infinite things
character
we do not
now, and it's like.
understand. There is
Usually you don't
beauty and
see
freedom
games
all
attempt to do
around
that
us.
until maybe like the
We owe it
second
to
or third
yourself
entry.
and
So I
everyone
thought that was
to
pretty cool
see
for them to
these
just kind of
things
like
and
just
then
go
share
for it
them
in
with
the
the
first
people
entry
of
for
this
the
country.
series.
Yeah, and Kaide's sections are
Help them to
really well
understand
done
the
sections,
absurdity of
because
fighting
they give her a
for such
totally
small
different
portions
set
of land on this
of
tiny
tools
island.
to handle things. And while they're not very long, if you know where you're going, you know, they're still
Who are you?
very
My
stressful,
name
because
is
she's
Nui. I serve
weaker
Princess
and
Hatsu.
just-
Princess Yuki is under
it feels like there's
ground.
way more enemies in her way than there are Samanosuke's way. And I'm also
She
not
takes more
armed
damage?
with a super overpowered sword to protect me. So
Kaede. We have
Does
little
she
time.
also does she take more
We have to
damage
find
or
Princess Yuki.
I don't
You
think
watch
she
over
actually
these
takes
kids.
more
I will.
damage, but it feels like she does. It definitely
Yeah.
hurts.
HP bar is also extremely low.
Is it smaller than Sam Inosuke's? I haven't actually noticed that.
It's smaller, yeah.
Here's the level 2 lightning door.
You have a big sword.
Yeah, we just got the big sword. Boom, done.
I think that's the only part. Yeah, this is all the weird part about that game. Like, you get through all the door and you open everything, but when it comes to this, you have to actually equip the sword properly.
Yeah, you have to equip all the different swords. Yeah, normally you would see him like if you were playing on PS2 or on the 2003 PC port, you would see him going into the menu to select the different swords. But on this, you actually saw the little icon in the upper left-hand corner just change colors. That's that active switching that I was talking about. That's exclusive to the HD port on Onimusha.
Scary room that I've definitely died to before.
But yeah, this room is something else, dude. I always like doing the back dashes through this room though.
Yeah,
it's
I only go for the first one because that one feels pretty safe and consistent, and then I just turn around immediately afterwards. Oops. Some of the camera angles and movement in this room is not super great, and I feel like it's just you either suffer with slow turning with tank controls, or you just kind of bump into everything with the analog stick.
Sounds about right. So this was the purifier bell that he picked up, and it's going to purge the ghosts from this door, which is going to allow him to pass right on through and be accosted by these ice samurais that just kind of just come out of the wall. And that wind weapon that we picked up earlier as well, this is the door that's tied to the wind weapon. It's like a double-bladed, like, I want to call it a halberd, but it's not really. So
I think it's a glaive is what they would call it.
Yeah, glaive, yeah. Double-bladed glaive. And so that's that. I think that's probably one of the cooler things about this game is that like they not only have like the key items that that allow you to like get to different areas, but they also tied it to how your weapons are upgraded. So they wanted to be sure that you were doing the combat right in order to like get through it. And then of course, you know, again, your reward for completing the game is like now you get to skip all that. You don't have to worry about that. You can just kind of just barrel on through. But during the first playthrough, they wanted you to be like they wanted to be sure that you were like investing into all three of the weapons in order to get where you needed to go.
So at this point, we're getting captured by the demons, which is super convenient, and it's gonna mark the transition from Samanosuke to Kaede for the first time.
Yeah, Samanosuke is taking
He got trapped by the Mountain Dew wall, dude. It's like the destroyer of worlds using the MLB sponsors.
Did you find anything?
Like all of these tyrant samurais, they're literally broke the ice, you know, the ground.
What are you doing?
Looking for outlet or escape somewhere.
And Kaede does not suspect anything with Samanosuke just coming up normally dressed instead of panda suiting.
Yeah, right. Yeah, so normally this would be a little bit harder to tell that this is a fake Samanosuke because this Samanosuke always wears the default costume. But you know, since we're in the panda suit, you can tell that it's just a fake Samanosuke who's now going to just aid in kidnapping that little boy. Some of these animations look really funny in this panda suit as well.
Yeah, when it comes to the late game, you have to shoot a great arrow, and you're gonna clip the whole arrow through your whole hood. It definitely wasn't designed for that panda hood. I think that's why they give you the option to take it off, is so that it doesn't do that.
Oh, that would make sense, yeah.
The only weird part about Ultimate Mode
Are you
is
alright?
Kaede,
What happened?
with Kaede, you get infinite knife shuriken or something.
Monsters.
Everything else in the combat feels the same.
West.
But even then, Kaede
Listen.
actually just skips everything. You don't really have to fight anything. After all, she doesn't have, you know, capabilities like solo explosion and all that, so your options are pretty limited with this character.
Yeah, I do think that like Bath was saying, like they did give her a pretty much entirely new moveset, and she feels very different from Samanosuke, which I thought was great because when they tend to like when some like IPs do this whole like additional character that's played or like side character that's played, it feels very like
Wow.
tacked on. But
Wow. Get out of the way.
Get out of the way.
All according to plan.
All according to Keikaku.
I actually thought he was gonna be the first or something.
All you need, baby, is just the little swipes there.
Yeah, you just hit that guy once, and considering that she swipes a certain way, it just pushes him right out of the way, just enough for us to squeak on by.
And it also like it lunges her forward a little bit, so like you even get that little bit of additional movement too to help you out. And this section, I believe you're going to take the gear and then put that into the room with like the furnaces.
Yes.
That you then have to like get to turn off. Well, first you have to go in here and then grab an item in here. Yeah. Okay,
yeah. You have to get the silver plate from this room, and then run outside, and then we'll go to another room adjacent to this one to get the gold plate. Then we have to backtrack a little bit to use both of those items. Ugh. This movement in this room is always tricky.
Yeah, with all the like cubicle type stuff too going on.
Yeah, so I'm gonna wait a little bit for this first flame to kind of burn, so it'll be down by the time this cutscene finishes. And I'm just gonna tank it through here.
The damage boosts, I like it. The decision making.
Whoops.
He almost got it.
It would have been clean, but the camera angle definitely bamboozled me a little bit there. Which is story of this game for sure.
Bamboozle Warlords.
Yeah, that's what it feels like for sure. Hit this guy again.
Bam.
And now we're gonna go to Kaide's quote-unquote boss fight. Not really, since this guy becomes a normal enemy afterwards.
Yeah.
But
I think it's a pretty cool fight, though.
yeah, it can be. If you can execute it well, it's not a bad fight. But so far, I can't execute it well.
It's actually... So it's okay.
Yeah, there's a really good technique that you can one-shot the boss with this sacred knife that I just picked up. And but it's super difficult to actually pull off in the middle of a run. Also, Kaede is the only character who cannot quick switch weapons. Why they didn't give her the ability to do that, I don't know.
Well, is this... I guess it would make sense if this weapon is just like a straight up upgrade, right?
Yeah.
Wait a moment.
Yeah,
I will
that's
help
probably
you out.
why. Yeah. So I guess they're probably just like, well, once you switch to this more powerful weapon, then you're never going to switch back, so...
Yeah,
do
that's
care?
true. That's true. That makes sense. So this is Princess Yuki. We finally found her, and we're going to try and rescue her. This is who we've been looking for almost the entire time for this castle. This isn't
And
going to work.
she is very conveniently, not surrounded by guards at all, despite being a very important person. This definitely doesn't seem at any way a trap.
And the building on top of her is on fire right now, so it's like super great.
It's an extremely safe and not precarious at all position for Kaede to be in here. Then she gets cut by an invisible assassin and just totally decides to keep picking the lock.
I will
And then the
save
princess has to tell her, yeah, forget about me, go help Samanusuke. And Kaide's like, nah, I'm not listening to you, thanks though. I appreciate the advice. But then the princess gets taken away anyway.
Princess
Yeah.
Yuki!
From some, you know, he just kind of shows up and just kidnaps her. It's totally fine. No one saw it coming.
Not at all.
Oh my god. The camera angles are also part of the boss fight as well. It's super cool.
Ooh, that was a good dodge there on that. This boss
There we
looks
go.
like mad cool too. I really like this enemy's design.
Yeah, he's a really cool design.
He's got the whip sword too.
The whip sword boomerang thing. You don't get to see the boomerang in this fight, but when you counter him again, he can just kind of throw it out like a boomerang, casually. So now we're switching back to Samanosuke. We're waking up from this, I don't know, unconscious state in this cave that we have no idea how we got into. And we're basically going to run straight into another boss fight.
He was sitting behind the gamer wall for so long, he just decided to stay up all night playing Warzone. He fell asleep. Now he's gonna wake up and he's like, well,
The panda suit
gotta
covers
fight
up the
doppelganger.
Cheeto dust and Mountain Dew. So we're going to fight our doppelganger, otherwise known as Stylato. I'm going to hit him twice, hopefully pretty quickly. My first hit's going to be free, and after that, I'm going to try and bait out attacks and interrupt them in the middle of it.
This dude got the definitely the crazy eyes. When he just comes out the shadow, he's just like, oh.
So that was basically about as perfect of a fight as you're going to get on this fight. Sometimes he likes to, you know, screw you over a little bit and just start giving you random combos or moving around all over the place. So this was pretty ideal, and I'm satisfied with that. I took the souls for no reason because I'm not a smart thinker sometimes, but it won't actually affect anything.
That was soul food for the early morning
Yeah.
festivities. Gotta get your breakfast in, man.
You could not to get a downtown, so
Yeah.
have more connection for that.
Yeah, this is a pretty good downtime. So if you have any donations, now's a good point for it.
Still waiting on some donations coming through, but I did notice that Udorfo in the chat subscribed with their Prime. So don't forget, you can always use your Prime Gaming sub to get access to the ESA emotes and help fund ESA events as well.
Samanosuke, what is this?
Very nice.
Yeah.
And then this is I think this is the actual gate to the demon world that they're about to open up here.
Well, we would, but we're being blocked by this new contraption that we have to now solve a couple puzzles to get beyond.
Thing that just looks like, I don't know, it looks like a Beyblade just on the door.
So we're basically going to backtrack all the way to the area where Kaide's section took place, but we're going to go through a different door that was previously locked, or is still locked, but I'm going to unlock it since I'm super strong.
He got the fire gauntlet. Oh my goodness. That guy was aggressive.
It normally doesn't happen this way, but yeah. Unreal.
That's never happened before.
Everybody's just body blocking me, and I'm not having a good time with it.
With the archers of this game as well.
Sometimes those archers are just Hawkeyes, dude, and then other times they're stormtroopers. It's like,
Yeah.
which ones you're gonna get during any given run? Who knows?
Cool.
See, like.
Pretty sweet. Thanks.
Oh no.
All the way. They were ready. They were absolutely ready, 100%.
You know,
Like, even if you're if you're trying to climb and all that, then literally auto aimbotting or something.
so I'm gonna just take these guys out. Maybe they'll drop some health for me, which they didn't, which is pretty cool as well. That's fine.
I like how that's an achievement as well.
Yeah.
Like just using the cart there to kill them.
Oh yeah.
I'm just gonna run around you guys.
Nice.
Yes.
Dang. He really.
Oh
took
my
the pen
god,
to
these
express
bows
the-
though.
Oh, no. Dude, no.
What is happening?
At least we got some health. We're good now.
The Avengers were hired out here. Jeez.
They saw the new Disney Plus trailer and they were like, "That looked kind of good. I think I'm gonna do that."
Oh, there, almost got me again.
Uh-oh. Oh, that was a good dodge. Yeah, I just saw it. Very nice.
They're definitely coming for me with a vengeance.
Oh, no.
Come on.
Archers are the highlight. Serious.
Like,
yeah,
this
in
candy
case it-
suit can't save me now.
In case if you didn't notice, like this game is probably surprisingly one of the shortest game in the entire thing. Like,
Pretty
this game is
punishing. I feel like this game is pretty punishing.
For sure.
too.
extremely
Like,
punishing.
To
you can just get the beans, you know, whenever. Like the game does not care about you.
Especially here too, like the body blocking that happens in this section,
Mhm.
especially, is like super crazy.
So I think I'm just gonna hit whatever gets in my way, just to move beyond them. Because these guys will definitely block you, or you know, pre-fire the corner, just so you can get hit by them. It's pretty cool. Highly recommend.
Here's the level 3 wind door, and I don't remember if this is the last soul door that we use in the run.
That's the last one.
Yeah, I believe that is
Yeah,
the last.
okay. That's what I thought.
so,
Yeah.
so it's level 2 thunder, 3 fire, and 3 wind.
So I'm gonna run around this bridge just so Kaide can run past it later. Because if I attack him, most of the time you're gonna cut the bridge down, and I don't really want to do that. I'd rather have Kaide have a straighter path than having to deal with her 2 ninjas later.
Well, you
That's
could-
pretty cool, actually.
yeah, that's cool.
I didn't
Okay.
even think about that, to be honest. How like they both come through that area, so you can
Yeah.
save it for.
And you can get lucky and attack the guy that's right by the ropes, but it's kind of like hit or miss on whether you actually cut the rope or even the guy for that matter.
thought
So
you
I
could
just
push
play
him
it
back
safe.
with a- I thought you could push him back with a kick. No, I don't know.
Well, you don't pick up the bow in this run, so I don't really have the option to do that.
Yeah, it makes sense. Also, the Bishamon sword gives you infinite magic, right? When you do have other weapons equipped.
Yes.
No. It's just the mode itself. It's like Bishamon Sword, you can spam the mode unlimitedly, but if you're not playing Ultimate mode, the other weapons have a limit on the magic, I believe.
Okay, so it's just the ultimate mode. Okay, I got you.
Yep, that's the ultimate.
Fun.
So you can choose to jump over these guys by baiting out an attack and just timing your jump correctly, or you can just hit them at least 4 times and they'll fall down, and after their iframes give up, you can just run past them.
I think you can jump across them without having to attack them. I think.
I feel
Yeah,
like
you have to do the Eason.
yeah,
maybe.
you start the Eason thing. I don't have a whole lot of practice in it. I didn't really feel confident going for it. So here's a bridge that I'm gonna save for that I was saving for her. Makes her pathing much easier and not having to deal with these ninjas that really want to kill you.
I'm glad the enemies can't cut these roads off. Like, imagine if you're running past it and then out of all sudden they cut it off. And
They
then
just
you
cut
go-
it. They're like, game over, bud. No
Yes.
shot.
I think about that all the time, and I'm just like, man, thank goodness that isn't a thing. Or, you
Yeah.
know, maybe it just hasn't happened yet. I don't know.
That is an unspeakable evil. Don't you dare.
This is gonna be my last puzzle box of the run.
That puzzle is usually where my brain blocks, especially if I'm late into the game.
Yeah, I could see that for sure. Because that's like, I don't even remember if that's like the most complicated puzzle that's in the game. There's some that
It
are just
isn't.
like-
There's some that you know, go more than just one row. So it's probably like right in the middle of the road of complications for sure.
Yeah, I can't even imagine doing like the 100% category for this game. Just all those puzzle boxes.
Shout out to everyone who did 100% category. Like, there are few people did that, and I'm like, I don't have the patience for it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I applaud the
Yeah,
runners
yeah.
that go for it for sure.
Yeah, because you need to pick up, like, you need to have a checklist, basically.
Hmm.
I like how that dude just shot you from off screen too.
Yeah,
He
these everybody loves to pre-fire on you, especially the tall knights. They'll just go ahead and start swinging, and the moment you come around the corner, you get hit by it. So that seems pretty fair and honest.
Yeah, it's extremely balanced. I love it. Now I think that's the end of the Kaide sections as well, so we can switch back to Samanosuke, who's going to be dealing with a giant,
Hornet
I
lady.
don't know. Yeah, Hornet, that's right. I was thinking it was a butterfly, and I was like,
Oh,
and I'm like, it's definitely not a butterfly. That doesn't seem right. She's like, what's this giant panda doing surrounded by these scorpion-looking demons, or something, these bug-looking demons?
What?
I always thought it was like the antlions from Half-Life 2.
Samanosuke, a
Oh
monster's coming,
yeah,
watch
that
out!
would make sense, yeah.
All right.
We
so-
have time for a quick donation, or
yeah, absolutely.
We've had $5 come in from Dadden, who says, "I loved Onimusha when I was little. Oh, the memories and the fear. Good luck on the run."
Thanks, man.
And this is the point where that unlimited magic that we were talking about comes into play. Because like Bath mentioned, he's not going to be getting any of the bow stuff in this run, so he's just going to be using the magic attack, I believe, from the glaive here.
Correct.
Yeah, and this attack has like tons of iframes on it as well, and just does this huge amount of damage in this area. So it's going to not only do a lot of damage to the boss, but it's also going to protect him from the enemies that are on the ground next to him. So normally you'd have to like, you know, like manage the enemies that are on the ground as well as like just kind of hope that they don't attack you. But in ultimate mode here, he's just going to be able to just wail on the boss, in pretty much infinitely until it goes down. I guess I could have just said you wail on him.
Give me that. Like,
Nice.
I'm gonna slow down a little bit just because I want the yellow orbs for health. Because she's the only boss who doesn't drop anything after dying. So you gotta get them while they're given.
It's a good shout there.
wondered whether they actually put it like during the wind or
I ignited the gunpowder.
getting additional so it speeds up, but then I see the recovery of the wind. Yeah, and the recovery is
Hurry!
that.
Come on!
Gonna do our Hollywood escape.
Yeah, the typical the Hollywood or Resident Evil type escape.
Yeah,
Oh! They don't look at the explosion. That's how you know they're cool.
how they reached out here, I do not know.
Yeah, I don't know
Yeah.
how the circumstances on how they ended up exactly over here.
Because they definitely didn't swim.
Yeah.
They definitely
Hang
were
on, Kai.
unconscious.
So we're in probably the last, not even 10 minutes of the game, I think. Yeah.
Yeah, because this is just kind of like you go down to the underworld, right, and then you just have to do the fights there.
Yeah, I just got 2 more boss fights, and
Rest
that's
here for a
gonna be
while.
it for sure.
This looks so funny because these are like these emotional moments where Samanosuke is like, oh no, I can't believe this has happened.
Yeah.
Oh no, Kaide, and it's just like this panda that's just like, hey, hey.
Absolutely souring it with a panda suit.
Must end
Yes.
now.
This nightmare must end now. Just this panda, just chilling.
Princess Yuki, Onimaru, I will save you.
Switch back to the Bishamon sword. We're gonna go like 2 rooms and then get started for another boss fight.
Yeah, and this boss fight is actually the return of Marcellus, and he now is like totally upgraded. He's like got all of his drip going on, so he has like a couple of phases too in this where he gets super aggressive. Fortunately, I think the Bishamon sword's gonna make quick work of him, despite all of his. Oh, there it is. There's the clip.
Yeah, perfect cutscene.
Right there. It just clips right on through, dude.
Yeah, so we're gonna fight Marcellus. Now I only need to hit him 6 times, I believe. After the first 2 hits, it's gonna switch him over to phase 2, and after that, I'm basically, hopefully, going to successfully stun lock him until he dies. He's a super dangerous guy. He can definitely combo you to borderline death, if not death itself. So I'm gonna try and not do that for sure.
That's definitely, yeah. If your health goes to 0, you die.
Yeah, I'm gonna
Oh.
try and kill him before he kills me. That's the ultimate strategy throughout the whole game.
Impressive you've come this far with ultimately futile since your journey ends here.
Impressive you've come this far.
You. Why don't you go back to playing with your worthless little toys?
It's so. I like how he just looks like.
What did you say?
It looks like his head. I could find his head on like my favorite Chinese buffet tray, dude. Like.
They picked up his head from
it's
the
like-
beach.
Yeah, right. Or it's like you could dunk that head in tartar sauce and just make a nice like little bit of meal out of it. Like this dude's got a shrimp for a head. Oh, Marcellus. Crush him.
I miss, which is not great.
Unfortunate.
Come on, bro. There we go. So now we're transitioning to phase 2, and I'm just gonna hit him. Oh god! Oh god! Oh.
Unfortunate.
Wow. Okay, so that was super great.
Excellent.
Luckily, we have a backup save. Unfortunately, it's right immediately after that fight, so we're not missing anything content-wise. We just finished the fight like I never died.
Yeah, absolutely. Pay no attention to the man behind the curtain. So.
Yeah. So as I said, Marcellus can definitely kill you when he wants to. I guess I just wasn't mashing Y hard enough, but you know, it happens. It happens to the best of us.
And now Samanosuke is descending into the depths of the underworld, and will be taking on I forget this last boss's name.
Fortinbras.
It's like right there. Fortinbras, yeah.
Yeah.
Fortinbras moment, yeah. Absolutely.
As the biggest fish people I've ever seen in any video game.
Yeah, dude, this boss never it never seems like it's gonna die, dude. You just have no idea at all. I think this is also like one of the only cutscenes that you can actually skip in this port because it's just like a pre-rendered like FMV
I
or
remember,
whatever.
I remember these questions. This game, you guys tell me, why does this boss have so much HP? Oh my god, I don't know, dude. Like, that's just how he is.
That's how the boss is, dude.
It's a final boss, you know. It has to be a chunky final boss.
Unkillable mess.
Alright, so the strategies for this boss in ultimate mode is I'm still gonna spam this glaive at him because it deals the most number of attacks quickly, has a very quick reset, and gives me iframes when it's important. I'm still not perfectly safe doing the fight, but it's definitely a little bit faster, if not the fastest way of doing the fight in this mode. Other strategies involve switching weapons, but from everything I've tested, this ends up being the fastest way in every regard, because time spent switching weapons is time spent not attacking the boss. Time is going to come up in about, I don't know, 30 seconds maybe?
This boss has a ton of attacks that all involve like these lasers and everything. So you see Bath also like just kind of tanking them in favor of doing the DPS here. And then he's also going to get down, so there's an herb right here with medicine just to heal up between the phases. The boss has also like these grabs that it'll do, or like the big swipes and the eye lasers and stuff. A lot of these attacks do a ton of damage, and like they have pretty clear tells. It's a pretty well balanced boss, but all the same, like it's just it's just bad news bears. Like, you know, no pun intended with the panda costume. It can just ruin your day.
All right, that's time.
That's still a pretty decently long fight for having infinite magic, yeah.
We gotta watch the coolest cutscene in the game where Samanosuke goes Super Saiyan.
I'm fine.
We cannot stay here any longer. Run!
Hell yeah. GG, man.
Yeah, thanks.
That was Onimusha Warlords on Ultimate Mode.
Where did the panda go?
Yeah, I was.
We didn't render that.
We
didn't render that in this cutscene.
Yeah. No, thank you for an amazing run. I mean, one panda's journey through both feudal Japan and the underworld. It was amazing.
Yeah.
Please feel free to give any shout-outs, mentions that you want to do.
Just thank Cosmic and Loner for being the commentators for this run. Super clutch. Shout out to the Onimusha community that's still growing, and I look forward to seeing anybody else coming through. The timer is still going, by the way, and yeah, I mean, thanks for having me on this event. I'm very pleased to have been able to showcase this, and hopefully it brings more people.
Brilliant. Thank you very much.
Yep.
Okay, well, next up we have Lakad, who's going to be running Sekiro Shadows Die Twice, the Shura ending glitchless category, and we will be back shortly after this intermission.